This is going to be a quote for 75-page docket books. We click on the Quotes button on the toolbar or select Quotes from under the PrintQuote Pro menu. Then we click on Create Quote. We then enter the job name. Then we enter the job description. 75-page triplicate books, 150 by 210 mils with 25 3-page sets. Top-down colours are white, pink and yellow. The book is staple bound with a cardboard backing and paper cover. The conditions are to be printed on the back of the top sheet in black. And there's one perforation near the binding. And the layout is in portrait. We then enter the client. We just need the first couple of letters of the client's name. Hit the tab key and then the list of any clients that fit that criteria will be displayed, and we select the one we want. Click select. There's a special message with that client letting the operator know they're a valued client, so they need consideration. The required date is automatically 4 days ahead of the current date, and that is set in the press preferences on the invoice quote text tab of the preferences under the file menu. We're going to extend that by a few days. Then we enter the client's job number. Then we enter the quantities. And we're going to include the job description in the quote text. So we select the checkbox. The default salesperson has been selected. Then we click Apply to save those details. We're asked if we wish to update the quote text details, which we do because we've added new information to the quote. Then we move to the Printing tab. First we select the press. For this job we're going to use the Armada 700. And if we look at the preferences of the Armada 700, we'll see using a rate of $1 per 1,000 sheets of A4 with a minimum charge for ink at $5 is the preference for this press. We're not going to have a markup, and then we choose the colour, which is black. We're not going to wash the black up because we leave it on the press. Then we type in the artwork, $15, $15, $25, and who does the artwork. Then we click Add Print Item to add this item to the quote. Then we see the numbering. We're going to have one number, one perforation. Clicking on the numbering heading, we can enter the start number and the finishing number. On the perforations, we can enter the perforation details. Click OK to save those. We're going to use a number and perfing rate for the run because we're running numbers. If we look at the press preferences, we'll see we're going to average the setup cost for numbering and perfing, and we're going to include the first colour make ready in the number and perfing setup. So we'll save that. Then for books, pads and NCR, we select NCR. We're going to have 3-page sets and 25 sets per book. Then we update print item and move to the guillotining tab. So for NCR we select stock, then we'll do a search for all the NCR stocks. Then we hold down the control key and select the components of our set and click on average. We give the stock a name and click OK. Then we'll be asked how many sheets of each stock item do we want to include in the set. We want 1 CFB, 1 CB and 1 CF. Then the 3 are displayed. We have the triplicate set, which has an average price of the 3 components. So the print run will be treated as if all the sheets in the run are at this rate, $164 per 1,000 sheets. We click select. Then we click on the colours button. Top colour is going to be white. Click set colour. Second one is pink. Click set colour. And the back sheet is yellow. Click set colour. We also have the option here of changing the order of the sheets by selecting an item and giving it another order number. Once we're happy with the order of the stock, click OK. So here we've got a markup of stock which is set in the stock details. Then we choose our sheets. So the running sheet is an A3 oversize and the finish sheet is an A5 finish size. The overs are chosen from the press preferences for the run. We can change that if we wish. And we're going to include the guillotining overs in the guillotining cost, and include stock overs in the stock cost. Then we click update print item to save these changes. Then we need to go back to the printing tab to take into consideration the printing of the back of the top sheet. The back of the top sheet will be 1 sheet per set, so there's 25 sheets to be run for each book. It's going to be black. Each page is the same, so we add print item, black back, and save that. So now we have the book run and a separate run for the back of the top sheet. Then we need to look at the guillotining section for the back of the top sheet. And we're not going to, we just leave this, we don't need to change this because we're not including these costs in our job because they've already been taken into consideration when we're printing the 75-page triplicate books, the actual sets. So then we update print item. So the stock and the guillotining will now be 0. So if we go back to the printing tab and look at this item, we've got 25 sets of 3 pages per set, artwork, so forth. Then we go to the back, artwork costs and film costs are the same person did the job. It's also black on the back with no wash up, but there's only 1 sheet per set. Then we move to the guillotining tab and nothing here is included. We deselected the cost of stock and the cost of guillotining. Then we move on to the finishing tab, and we're going to need to collate these sheets once they're printed. So they'll be collated as 3-part sets. So we click on add finishing item and we save that item. Then we move to the finishing to tab for the binding, and we're going to use soft cover with hard backs. So update finishing item, and move to tab 3, click on packaging. We're going to have 10 books per small carton, and when we have the grey area, that is saved, that's part of the quote, so that's saved by saving the quote. The green part is for finishing, and any changes here are saved by clicking on update finishing item. Then we move to the costings tab. So here we have the printing of the back, no stock price, no guillotining, just running costs and ink costs. For the rest of the book we've got stock costs, guillotining and press runs. Then there's our finishing. And our books, 10 books are going to fit in one carton, 15 books will need 2 cartons, 20 books will need 2 cartons, 25 books will need 3 cartons. And so if it's $10 base plus $5 per carton, for freight we deselect same values, we choose 10, that'll be $10. For 15 we $12.50, 20 be 15, and for 25 will be $17.50 for freight. Click apply to save the details. Then we can move on to the quote text tab, and there's our details. If the client, once contacted, wants to change the number of books, we can go to the costings tab, change it to say 35, hit the tab key, and automatically we'll have the new price. So you can tell them while you're on the phone. You will, however, need to modify the freight again, because it will be calculated on the last freight entry. So you might have to, if you're going to use specific freight for each quantity, you'll have to re-enter that. If we go back to 25, we go back to the quote text tab. There are 3 types of quotes we can send to our client. One is we can print a hard copy, and that uses the default settings in the preferences. If we go to preferences under the file menu, we go to company logo, we can import and load a logo into the preferences. On the preferences 1 tab we've got 3 choices. One is a loaded header using the graphic logo, the others are 2 4cm and a 5cm blank header that can be printed on a pre-printed sheet with your own letterhead. The invoice can have a loaded header or a 4cm blank header, or a detailed invoice that would go to the accounts department. The quote, we can choose the header, click apply, and then view it on preview quote header. So this is how the quote will look when using the loaded header option. Using the 4cm blank header option, Gives you a blank header that you can print on pre-printed sheets. So that's one option. So printing the default header, we click on the print quote, preview quote. This is how the quote looks as printed using the default header saved in the preferences and using the loaded header option. Then we have the SMS the quote to the client. We click on the SMS button. We can have the option of sending it to the contacts as well. We can mail merge fields of the client in the message. We choose who the message is from. We can add a keyword. So that we can retrieve it at a later date and use that to send the message. So we click send SMS and the quote is SMS'd to the client. We can create a quote using a custom template. So we go to quote templates. Depending on how many quantities we have, we can do 1 quantity, 2 quantities, 3 quantities, 4 quantities. We can load a template in. We can create templates. We can add multiple pages. This is a fully functional word processor that allows us to insert graphics, and that we can be quite creative around developing documents to send out with the quote or as a quote. We can merge the data from the quote into the document. We click Save to Database, and now it is accessible, and we can now email that as a PDF to our client. To mail as the PDF, we click on Email Quote to Client. Then we choose Attach Database Quote as PDF and Email. We get options for how the PDF is going to be created, so we can set preferences for the PDF. Then the emailer opens. We can add a message to the top of the email. We can merge client data with that. The quote has been converted to a PDF and attached. And then we can select a marketing document to attach the quote to. We can also create a keyword so it can be retrieved easily at a later date. So we click on Send Email, and our marketing document will be emailed with the quote as a PDF attachment. Message sent successfully, and it asks us if we wish to save the quote PDF into the quotes folder. Then it displays the path of the quote and where we can find it. If we go and look at the emailed quote, if we open up the quote in the mailer, we'll see we've got our marketing HTML email, and our quote is attached as a PDF. So you can create any amount of information here. It can be merged with the client's details, and you can attach the quote as a PDF for them to save for their records. We can also send the quote as an HTML quote template To do that, we select a quote template, an HTML template, no art costs in it. We can then attach PDF marketing information to it if we wish. So we could attach a marketing letter, a keyword, and send that. And we have the first name merged into the subject. If we open up the email, we'll see here that we've got an HTML quote template plus a marketing letter that is attached as a PDF. You can open the email templates, HTML templates, in an editor and make them far more attractive. You can put your letterhead graphic on the top and make them quite attractive. If you do enter graphics and so forth into the HTML templates, they must be as a full URL. So you have to place the graphics on a server so that when the email is opened, the graphics will have the full URL so they can be loaded from the server when the email is opened. But if you look at the video emailing quotes, you'll be able to see more information on emailing and using PrintQuote Pro to send quotes to your clients. In order to SMS quotes to clients and email quotes to clients, you will need to have SMS gateway account details through which you can send an email message and then have it converted to an SMS message and sent out on the mobile network. We use Clickatel for that. And also you'll need an email account on a server to be able to send emails to clients, and also an email account through which you can send the message to the SMS gateway. But you can look at the videos on emailing and SMS messaging for more information on the gateway and email accounts.